Why not make 2025 the year you finally start a budget? Why not pay down some of your debt or get over your fear of investing? Why not start building your emergency fund? This is the perfect time to start. Today, you can start building your healthy and wealthy best year. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I build my budget for a new year for confidence, success, and just a better feeling about money overall. I'm going to break it down in tons of detail to make it super simple and beginner friendly. This is how I budget for a new year. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the annual video, how I budget for a new year. Today, we're going to be setting up my budget tracker and just kind of my annual budget for 2025. I can't believe another year has gone by. It's so exciting. I feel like a new year is such a fresh start, and nowhere do I feel that to be more true than when it comes to budgeting. I feel like so many of us, a new year comes along and we think to ourselves, this is the year I'm gonna get my finances in check. And you know what? Yes, it is. And I am going to be your friend and your helper and your cheerleader and your motivator along the way. That is my wish. And I hope that it can start or continue with this very video. My name is Zoe. I'm 28 years old and I live in Montreal. I have had such a journey when it comes to budgeting, but I'm now in a place where I can say that it's really a hobby of mine. It used to be something that terrified me, that freaked me out so much. I would sit down to do my budgeting every month and first of all, I used to never sit down to do my budgeting. I didn't think I needed a budget. I thought that I could just do whatever I want and my money would figure itself out. No. When I finally did start to budget, it would be a stressful activity for me every month. I would sit down and oftentimes I would literally shed tears because I would look back at my credit card statements, look at what I was spending, and just still feeling that paycheck to paycheck feeling. It's been about 4 years since that version of me, and every year I've evolved and gotten better and better. So if this is your first year trying out a budget, just know that it's going to get better with time. If this isn't your first year and you feel like you have room to improve, I feel like we always have room to improve. So let's do it together. Let's get on our personal finance journey together. Here on my channel, I like to say that we are building our healthy and wealthy best lives. So if that all sounds good, make sure you guys are subscribed and let's get into this video. I have a feeling this is going to be a long video. There is so much I want to talk about, so much I want to say. And those of you who know my channel know that I love a long chatty video. I'm like scared I got matcha in my teeth. Okay, we're good. I have so many exciting things that I want to say, and I've been dreaming up this video and getting ready to film it for a couple of days now, and it's finally here. So if you're not here to chat, you can use the chapter markers to jump around. If you are here to chat, grab a nice drink, something cozy, and let's hang out and talk about money. So I'm mic'd up so that I can turn away and you guys can still hear me. You guys can see behind me, I have my budget tracker for 2024 up on the screen. We will be doing a little mini annual review, but the most important part of this video is looking forward, moving into a new year. So I'm going to show you guys step by step how I set up this very budget tracker, how I'm going to be setting up a fresh one for a new year. I love this budget tracker so much. You guys know I also love cash envelopes. My whole budgeting toolkit, which we'll be going through in this video, is from a Vancouver-based company called The Line. They are one of my favorite companies. I love them so much. I've been using their products for years. It's actually their products that got me on my budgeting journey because they make beautiful, aesthetically pleasing products that I'm shallow, okay? They really motivated me to stick to my budgeting. The first time I tried cash envelopes, I was using these ugly paper envelopes and it didn't work. When I got the gorgeous cash envelopes from The Line, it stuck. So sometimes investing in your budgeting journey is an investment that pays off. I have saved thousands and transformed my life truly because of these products. So I'm so excited to be sharing them with you in this video. And I want to thank The Line for partnering with me on this video. I have a special discount code for you guys. Everything will be linked down below, everything I show in this video. You guys can use code ZOE10 to get 10% off your order. I promise you guys, these products will change your life, and I'm so excited to dive into all of them in this video. So you guys know I love to start my video out with a little chat, and I wanted to introduce this video by talking about how budgeting can be fun and how we can make budgeting fun for 2025. If you clicked on this video, it's probably because you want to start a budget this year, or you want to continue budgeting, or maybe you just want to support my channel, and for that, I'm grateful. But if you're already here, you may as well start thinking about your money. I feel like we've been conditioned, especially as women, as girls, we've been conditioned to think money is scary. Money is something that perhaps is more for men. Money is something that's for other people to deal with. Money is a problem for future you. But money is a solution for you right now. And I have found so much peace in taking care of my finances, looking at my finances, peeling back the curtain and removing that element of fear and uncertainty. And just when you don't know what's going on, that's when you're going to feel anxious. The more I'm involved with my budget, the more I look at what I've spent, the more I use this budget tracker, the more calm I feel. And that is coming from someone who really, really struggles with financial anxiety. I still struggle with it to this day. I still struggle with a bit of a lack mentality, but it is nowhere near as bad as it used to be, you guys. And it's all because of these steps that I've taken. So it's never too early nor too late to start. I really, really want this for you guys. I want you guys to feel inspired, to know that you can wear a cute pink sweater and do your budgeting or whatever color you want, but you know what I mean. It's not just for finance bros on Wall Street. This is for all of us. And the sooner you take charge of your finances, the better you will feel. It is so empowering. I used to think that having a budget would mean depriving myself of all of the things that I want. And I literally did not believe it when people would say, having a budget is not deprivation, it's freedom. I was like, yeah, right. Let me tell you guys, having a budget is not deprivation, it is freedom. You will see when you stop spending on things that don't matter to you and that don't make you happy, and straight up with people who don't make you happy, you will feel so free. When you see your net worth slowly but surely starting to grow, when you pay off your debt and you feel that relief come off of your shoulders, you will watch your life transform. You will be a happier and more calm person because of it. And once again, that's the feeling that I really and truly want for you guys. So if that is your vibe for 2025, make sure you're subscribed to my channel, you guys. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm setting this kind of audacious goal. I would love to hit 70,000 subscribers by March 1st. So if you could help make that happen for me, I would be so happy. If you have a friend that you want to start chatting about budgeting with, if you want to open up that discussion between friends or family members, maybe send them my videos. I mean, anything, you guys. I'm just putting it out there if you want to support. Okay, I'm shy now. Okay, I'm back. But speaking of fun, you guys, why not talk about budgeting with your friends? Why not open up that conversation? You will see your friendships flourish when you're able to talk about money in a way that is not competitive, not comparing, but how can you cheer each other on as friends? Some of my best friendships have become even deeper when we've opened up a conversation about money, because we've stopped feeling this need to go out and take photos for Instagram and dress up and always have this like outwards facing friendship. When we decided that we wanted to save money and stay in, our friendship grew even deeper because we got to have more meaningful conversations. We got to let each other into this important part of each other's lives. And it's just really beautiful. So try talking to your friends about money. Try talking to your partner about money, your family members. I really do think it can bring people closer. Okay, enough about the feelings, right? Let me check my notes. Guys, I wrote a list about everything I want to talk about in today's video. Budgeting is therapeutic. Yeah. It is. It is. Okay, good thing I wrote down some notes. One more thing I want to say that is a big lesson that I am taking with me into 2025. It's not about how much you make, it's about what you do with what you make. I used to constantly think that the solution to all of my problems, the solution to my anxiety was to make more money. Guess what happens when I made more money? Guess what happens? I spent it all. I remember specifically one period a couple years ago where I got a raise at work, and I was also making like decent side money from YouTube. Let's say like I was making an extra $500 to $1,000 a month from YouTube, and I had gotten a raise to get 75K at work. That number 75K sounded so high to me. This number felt like so much to me. And so what did I do? Did I increase my investments? Did I save more for my emergency fund? No. I went freaking shopping online because it was COVID. So I have proven to myself that making more money is not the solution. It helps and it's great to want to strive towards more and want to earn more and want to grow your net worth. I have no problem against that. That is something that I am still working towards, but a mindset shift that I want to make is that making more money is not the solution. Learning to manage what you have now, how to be grateful for what you have now, how to live within your means now will only make things better and will make that new money when you do earn more, that's what will make it count. So major lesson for me, major vibe for 2025. Every year I would set the goal, earn more money. And this year I'm not gonna set that goal. If it happens, phenomenal. If it doesn't, it's gonna be okay because I'm gonna learn how to better manage what I have right now. Can you guys tell I've been reading personal finance books and listening to self-help audiobooks? It's New Year's, it's what we do. Next chapter, you guys, let's take a second to look back on 2024. I'm not gonna do a whole in-depth looking back because I feel like that could really be its own video, but I do have some insights. I do wanna start diving into this tracker, so let's go ahead and do it. Alrighty, so now we're in the annual summary page of my 2024 budget tracker from The Line. All of this is automated. So what's really cool about the budget tracker is you guys can see there are the monthly tabs down here. You just go ahead and input your budget in there throughout the months, and then this will automatically populate. So super cool. You're able to see your kind of overall cash flow, a breakdown, how you did on your budget versus your actual spending and earning. For me, down here is where it's really interesting. Your expense summary is all of your categories. Let's say your day-to-day spending, things like coffee, groceries, clothing, going to the movies, whatever it may be. This would all fall into your expense summary. Your bill payments are your monthly kind of more fixed expenses. For me, these are things like my rent and my parking, my insurance, and then my monthly subscriptions I keep as like a bill payment. So I have Spotify, Netflix, that falls into here, into the bill payments tab. Then you have your income summary. That's just all of the income that you got throughout the month. Savings, debt payments, and investments. Now, before we go in, and you guys are probably like pausing and zooming in. Okay, we're gonna get into it, I promise. Something very interesting that I wanna say is a little lesson. Lesson number one that I learned while doing this annual reflection. This was my second or my third year using the budget tracker. I know I'm getting older because I'm like starting to lose track of time with things. I started using the budget tracker to be a companion to my cash budgeting. So my budgeting journey looked a little bit like this. I did cash budgeting, then I incorporated the budget tracker. And my primary goal with the budget tracker was to be a digital support for my cash budgeting. That meant that from here to there, I would sometimes look over transactions. If something went on my credit card, let's say like my Apple iCloud bill, I have never accounted for my iCloud in this spreadsheet because I'm like, oh, it's just $5. I look it over. Coming here and coming to the end of the year and really looking at things, I'm looking at this, but I realize that this doesn't paint a true picture of my budget because there are areas that I've kind of overlooked. If we actually take a look here, we can see in the month of June, I didn't even input my income. What was I doing, you know? I actually know what happened here, and this was kind of a bad month for me, and so I took a step back from budgeting, which in hindsight just didn't help. But what it means is that I'm left with an inaccurate number at the end of the year. Same thing over here. You guys can see in June, I didn't really input any expenses. There's $100 there and I checked and it's just from gas. So this doesn't paint an exact portrait and it's all my fault because I haven't been inputting everything to the dollar. Now, I'm not super mad at myself because I needed to do what I needed to do in order to get my foot in the door with budgeting. And this is something I want to share with you guys because so many times when we start something new, we start our budgeting journey, we think we need to be perfect. And it is so overwhelming to try and be perfect. One, it's impossible. Two, it's impossible. If I had tried from the very beginning to be perfect and to get every single dollar, I might have given up. So I'm glad that I did it in a way that worked for me. Now I'm in the habit of using my budget tracker. So now I'm ready to take it to the next level and really account for every dollar. You might be watching this video. You might have already gone and downloaded this budget tracker. So I would give you the advice to try and input every dollar. Even if you think it doesn't matter, put it in there because at the end of the year, you're gonna have a more accurate depiction of your spending and of your earning, of your investments, everything. If that overwhelms you, start small for a couple months, then add in more detail and more. If it takes you a year, if it takes you 2 or 3 like me, that's okay. The most important thing is that you get started. But for me, a goal of mine for next year, this year, is going to be to truly try and budget for every single dollar that goes in or out of my accounts. How am I gonna do that? I wanna set a once a week budgeting date with myself. It only needs to take an hour, and I just find it so therapeutic. It's like, why am I not making time for this? It's literally therapy for me. I'll play music and just kind of chill out, look at my spending. It's never as scary as you think it's gonna be. It never takes as long as you think it's gonna take. And again, it just feels good. So I'll go through my credit card transactions. I'll go through all of my cash envelopes and take out my receipts. I'll go through my checking account and make sure every single dollar is accounted for. And the more frequently you check in, so I think once a week is a really good benchmark, the less time it's gonna take because you've done it more frequently. And then that also makes it less overwhelming. So that's a goal of mine for 2025 that I wanted to share with you guys. If we take a look at my income summary, those of you who've been following my channel know that 2024 was not my best year in terms of income. It is a little bit higher than this because obviously we got a 0 right here. I would assume, I would say it was probably around 3,000. So here's a guesstimate at my income for 2024, $62,078.26. This is pretty good considering I work jobs that I love. I've made more money than this at jobs that I hated, and I can tell you I'm a lot happier now. So the Zoe who thought that making more money would make her happier, she was wrong. That being said, in today's economy, with the goals that I have, I'd love to earn more than this. Wouldn't we all? So yes, in 2025, I do hope to increase this. You guys can also see, if you look at the breakdown, I did really, to me, $11,000 in 1 month is so much money. I was doing really, really well at the beginning of 2024. And I could tell you guys in May is when things significantly changed for me. I don't want to spend too much time going into it, but because it's just it's a little bit sad for me. It was kind of a traumatic time. Not that traumatic, but it wasn't great. I was doing super well with YouTube. I had some recurring brand deals that I was on fixed contracts with. So month after month, I would do a sponsored video with the same few companies. It was companies that I loved. It was products that I used. This was a dream come true for me. I felt like this was going to continue on in perpetuity. I was sure that these contracts would renew. I'd get another 3 months and then another 3 months, and I would be making $11,000 a month. I also had a copywriting contract, which I still have, but at the time I was doing so well with YouTube. I was thinking, you know what? I really want to take this YouTube thing full time. I'm going to stop doing my copywriting contract. Had a call with my boss. It was very emotional because I really enjoyed working with them, and I just let them know that I didn't have as much time as I used to dedicate towards them, and I need to take a step back. Basically, I was going all in on YouTube. My copywriting boss ended up coming back to me, and we were able to work out a bit of a different system for working together because, very flatteringly, they liked the work that I do. They enjoyed working with me, and I ended up accepting their proposal. Thank God I did, because right after that, you guys, not 1, not 2, but 3 of my recurring contracts ended and they did not renew. So I went from having a relatively stable and great YouTube income to having that being slashed more than half. So that is what happened further down in the year. That's how I went from making, great money to decent money. Decent for doing something you love. So that's a little bit about my income story in 2024. It was extremely stressful, but I'm grateful for the chance to learn to roll with the punches, and that's what's led me to this new mindset shift. So everything happens for a reason. Let's move on. Let's talk about my bill payments, because my low bill payments are basically what allowed me to survive that massive dip in income. I live with my partner, so my rent is super low. We live in a 1-bedroom together. It's tight, and sometimes I complain, and sometimes I wish for more space. But then I look at this and I'm like, just be happy, Zoe. Just be happy, because my expenses are super low. My car is fully paid off, so I don't have any car payments. However, my insurance is really expensive, which is so annoying, but alas. And I do pay for an indoor parking spot. I rent that from someone else. I pay for Spotify and I pay for Netflix with ads. And that pretty much makes up for my monthly fixed expenses, which I am so grateful for. When I was living alone and my rent was $13.50 a month, plus really expensive hydro, plus all of the things, just living by yourself is wonderful, but it's so much more expensive. I would have probably had to go back and get a corporate job because I wouldn't be able to afford my life, or it'd be really tight and I'd have no savings. So anyway, lucky for that. And then the last area here we can look at is my expense summary. $22,561. It's probably a bit more than that. We could probably assume it was about, let's just say 2,000 to be conservative. So okay, $24,454. I'm pretty sure it was higher than this because like I said, there's little bits here and there that I overlooked. And the thing is, those little bits really do add up. However, it's funny because I would have guessed that this was a lot higher than this. I have this tendency to beat myself up, say that I'm spending so much, say that I need to stop, oh my God, and always feeling guilty when I spend money. When you look at the big picture, especially compared to my earnings, it's really not that bad, right? If we add this up and we add it to my bill payments, 36, compared to my income, 62, there's an extra $30,000 somewhere. Let's add back the 10, okay, $20,000. That's still really excellent. So really important lesson here that I learned is to stop beating myself up, stop being so hard on myself about every single dollar I spend. Life is not about spending $0 and living off macaroni. Life is meant to be enjoyed, and it's about finding that balance. And this just showed me that although it was a stressful year, a lot of the pressure and the stress and the anxiety that I felt was a lot more coming from my head, coming from my own habits and my own insecurities than actual numbers and facts. So don't let your emotions run your budget. I actually should have checked in. I didn't look at this yearly summary throughout the whole year. And perhaps had I been checking in on it, I would have realized that I was doing better than it felt like. Anyways, all we can do is move forward. So for 2025, I'm going to input every dollar like we talked about. I'm going to check in on this more frequently, and I'm just going to be more grateful for what I have. And yes, I'm going to spend less on frivolous things because I really do think there are other things in here that didn't quite get input. Before we move on to the next chapter, the last thing I want to say about looking back is that my boyfriend and I actually put up our budget trackers on the TV last night, and we each presented to each other our spending. It was so much fun because we live together, because we're in a committed relationship. Him caring for his finances also affects me. Me caring for my finances also affect him. So it was really fun to look at things together and see some areas where we want to cut back, some areas where we want to make changes. And there are a few of those, which I will talk about when we go and actually make my budget for the month. It's really exciting to feel like I have a cheerleader and a support system. So once again, I want to encourage you guys to find that person in your life that you can talk about budgeting with. And if there's truly no one in your life, just know that I'm here cheering you guys on. And you can always share stuff with me in the comments. I read every single comment. I try my best to reply to all of them. Now, the last little section would be saving and investing. This year, I definitely did not save nor invest as much as I wanted to. There were even times where I had to dip into my emergency fund. It was fully funded, and then, like I said, I had to dip into it. So that's going to be a big goal for 2025 is no matter what I feel about my income, still saving, still investing, because what I see from this is that I actually had the money to do it, even though I felt like I didn't. And because I felt like I didn't do it, but I need to let numbers run my life and not my emotions. So let's move into the next chapter, you guys. I want to start looking forward now, looking forward to 2025 and actually diving in to this budget tracker. I have a brand new one from the line that I'm going to open up, starting absolutely from scratch. If you already have a budget tracker, the best part about this is you don't need to buy a new one every year. You just need to buy one, make a copy of it, and then go in and delete your numbers and start fresh. That will take no more than 15 minutes, I promise you guys. So it's a really good bang for your buck product because it's an instant digital download. It just shows up right here on Google Sheets. So you don't need a special computer. You don't need a special software. You don't need to have Microsoft Excel. It just works right in your browser. You can even do it from your phone or your iPad if you don't have a laptop. You make your purchase, you click the link. I'll show you guys how it works in a second. So when you purchase the budget tracker, you will be sent a link. When you click on the link, you'll come to this page right here. You just click make a copy, and then it will generate a copy that is your own. So this is the budget tracker from the line. The first thing I would do is go ahead and rename your budget tracker. So I like to call mine Zoe's budget tracker. And then I'll just keep the line in there because I like to give them the shout out. So you have all the information that you need to know in this Start Here tab. It's going to show you how to work the budget tracker. This is that yearly summary tab that we went to. I'm going to go in and change the year to 2025. You can change your currency here. So if you're in euros, if you're in pesos, all of the currencies of the world, you can just go ahead and input it there. Right now, there are some numbers you guys can see, but these are all sample numbers that we're gonna go in and clean up. This is your expense categories tab. We will come in here and edit in a second. Your expense log, this is where a lot of the action happens because this is where you go in and input everything that you spent. So you go to the grocery store, you go in and you put it in here. I'll show you an example in a second. And then down below, you have these monthly tabs, one for every month of the year. So going into January, you guys can see it's all filled out with a sample budget. Everything in green, you do not touch. Everything in green is auto-generated. And then in here is where you'll go in and make it your own. It's really nice to have the sample here so you guys could see how you could apply it to your own. If you have a corporate job, first paycheck, second paycheck, if you get any bonuses, if you have a side hustle, part-time job, etc., there's room for you to input everything under the sun. Same thing with your bill payments and then your expense summary. This is really cool because a lot of this will be automatically generated. I will show you how to work this in just a moment. And then you have space for your savings, your monthly goals, debt payments, and investments as well. On a daily, weekly, monthly basis, the tabs that you're gonna be using the most are the expense log and then the corresponding monthly tab. And then every single month, it's the same thing. And then, like I said, once you fill in all of these tabs, you can go back to the yearly summary and you'll be able to see the auto-generated totals and everything like that. The first time I downloaded this budget tracker and started to use it, I felt so overwhelmed, but I wanna promise you guys, it's really not as overwhelming as it looks. It's actually very, very simple. I'm gonna walk you through step by step how to set it up, but if you feel like you need more support, The Line and I are going to be starting to offer virtual workshops where we walk you guys through in a small group setting, walk you through the budget tracker, help you get it set up, and then we have time for a Q&A. The first one is actually happening this week, so by the time you guys see this video, it will be too late. But if you guys fill out the Google form down below, if you are interested, I will send you a 50% off coupon when we run the next one. So if enough people are interested, then we'll do it again. If that's something that you would like, make sure to fill out that form so that we know how many people would be interested. I'm not gonna add you to a newsletter. I'm not gonna spam you with emails. I will just send you a 50% off coupon and let you know when the next one is happening. So go ahead and fill out that form. I also think in 2025, something that I want to start offering is like one-on-one budgeting consultations. So let me know in the comments if that's something that would interest you, or you could send me an email. As I'm getting used to it and as I'm figuring stuff out, I think I'm going to offer like a fat discount. So if that's something that interests you, I'll put my email down below too. So Google form, email, buy the budget tracker. Let's go. So now it's time for the exciting part. I'm going to go in and set up my actual budget for 2025. This is where it's gonna feel so good. This is where you feel like you're taking charge, you're taking action towards your future. It's really just the best feeling. So the first place we're gonna start is in here in the expense categories tab. I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit more and even more. So this tab is going to control the future tabs, and it's really cool how everything is interlinked. The Line has really done all of the work for us. So these are some sample categories. I'm gonna delete them and start fresh with my own. The cool part too is that you don't have to know all of your categories right at the beginning of the year. You can always go in and add more. My list went from like this to this as I continued using the budget tracker because I like to get really nitty gritty when it comes to my finances and have a special category for everything so I can keep my money super organized. You guys know I also do cash budgeting, so I've already established some cash categories. So I make sure to input those here as well. I actually have my cash envelopes here, so I'm gonna follow them to give me all of my cash categories. I'm gonna put those in first, and then I'll input my credit categories after. So we have dining out, we have coffee, we have Maggie, we have personal care. So these are all of my cash categories. I'm just gonna go take a look at my expense categories from last year at other things that I had. Books, gas, health and wellness, parking, workouts, car stuff, vacation, Christmas skiing, special events. Okay, let's copy all of these. And then I think I'm gonna delete a few of them. So gas is necessary, health and wellness is good, parking is good, workouts, car stuff, yes, vacation, Christmas, yes, skiing, yes, special events. I put this in for things like Easter or anything that's kind of tied to a holiday that would like warrant extra spending, but I'm not sure if I want to keep budgeting like that. I feel like I could just, I don't know. I'll leave it for now. Clothing, yeah, clothing, I'm gonna take it out. I'm taking it out because clothing is either going to be attributed to treat yourself or to, like, let's say I'm buying clothes for skiing, I'll put it in the skiing category. If I change my mind, I'll always just go back and add it. Dog sitter work week, I'm taking this out. I used to have a special category for if I would need a dog sitter when I'm working versus a dog sitter period, but I think it just makes more sense to just have it all in the dog category, which is the Maggie category up there. Day out, I'm taking this out. This was like for some work expense stuff, I'm just taking it out. Personal development, yes, and business expense, yes. So let's just move those two up. Boom. So you guys can see I have 21 expense categories. You could have 100, like it doesn't matter. You can make this as simple or as complex as you like. And remember that complex doesn't always mean complicated. All right, so I am going to go ahead and copy paste this list because when you go into your monthly tab, you want to copy paste it here. Oh, it fits perfectly. That's crazy. You can add more space if you need it. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this list into every single one of these tabs. I like to do this all at once at the beginning of the year rather than month by month, because then it makes it feel, when you sit down to do your budgeting at the beginning of the month, it's like a little bit extra work. You may as well just get in the flow and get everything set up now. So every single month I'm going to go in and just copy that in. All right, boom. So that took just 2 seconds. So now that list is in every single month. Now I'm gonna go into the expense log, and you guys will see if you look under this category here, when I click the drop down arrow, that whole list is automatically populated into here. So I'm gonna show you guys an example of the magic of this budget tracker. So let's say I bought some groceries. You can just double click in this date tab and it will bring you the calendar. So it's really easy just to input the date. Today is January 6th. I bought groceries for the week. And let's say I spent $100, boom. If I go into the January tab, it's automatically put there. The budget tracker will pull it from that expense log and then just pop it in to the corresponding tab. Now, you guys can see we have red here because we didn't put anything into this budget tab. This we have to do ourselves, and this is where the fun part is of setting our budget every single month, which we will get to in a minute. This is set. I've showed you guys how the expense log works. I'm just gonna delete all of this because it's not real. Excellent. So let's just review. Expense categories is done. Expense log, we're good. We have nothing to input just yet. Now let's go back into the January tab. So what I want to do is start with a fresh slate. So I'm going to go in and delete this. I'm going to delete all the numbers. I'm going to delete all of this because I just want to start with everything clean and at 0. Now it's all set, it's all clean. Let's go in and put in the information that is relevant to me, and you would do the same with the information that's relevant to you. All right, so let's jump in here. Let's start with the income summary. I get paid twice a month for teaching bar. I'm just gonna put bar. I like to put these in the order in which they usually come in. So bar usually comes in around the beginning of the month just because of like the pay cycles. It's every 2 weeks on a Thursday. Then I'll get paid from copywriting. This is an invoice that I send out, so I get paid a couple of days up to a week after I send the invoice, and I usually try and do it at the beginning of the month, so it comes in like early to mid-month. Then I get paid again from bar because of that 2-week pay cycle. Then I get paid from my Pilates studio, and then I pay myself a dividend. I'm just gonna leave the dates as January 1st for now, and then I'll just go in and edit them when I actually do get paid. I'll put in that. Now we wanna go here and put in the expected. So for me as a freelancer, the expected versus actual can actually vary because I won't know. Let's take bar. Bar is a great example. Depending on how many people come to my class, I will get a bonus based on the more people that attend, the more I get paid. I don't know at the beginning of the month how many people are gonna come to my class. I just don't know. Even the day of, I don't know, because people can register or unregister at the last minute. So I have an idea of how much I should be getting paid every paycheck. I always like to put down the minimum, and then if it's higher, it's better. So I always account for the lowest one. I'm just gonna whip out my calculator because the schedule has changed. I've got some new classes, so I should be making more money, which is great. My base rate for a class is $55. and I teach twice on Tuesdays and 1 to 3 times on Friday. So 5 classes a week, 55 times 5, 275 a week times 2, 550 for the 2-week pay period. So I'm gonna go in here and put in 550 expected, and then same 550 expected. There could be a situation where this is lower because if I have an appointment and I could only have the appointment at the same time as my class, I need to get someone else to replace me, I don't get paid, right? I only get paid when I show up, and I get a bonus if clients come in. So that's my guesstimate for bar teaching. For copywriting, it usually hovers around $1,000. This one is actually precise because I know what I'm gonna be invoicing. In January, I get paid from December, right? Because I invoice at the end of the month. This is not the work I'm gonna be doing in January. It's the work I did in December that I'm now getting paid for. So I actually know that in December I did a bit less, and I think it was around $775 is going to be my invoice. For Pilates, right now I'm only teaching once a week. Full transparency, I don't make that much as a Pilates teacher. This one I'm also heavily compensated on if people show up, and I'm teaching at lunch. It's not the most popular time slot, which usually leaves me to getting paid only $30 a class. So $30 a class 4 times a month, that comes out to 120 bucks. So I'm gonna just account for the lowest possible amount here. Starting in February, this should go up because I'm gonna start teaching a few more classes. But for now, that's what it is. The last category here is my dividend. So this is what I pay myself from my business, which is content creation. I used to be a sole proprietor and just take everything, and whatever came in was in my bank account. Now I have a separate business bank account, and I'm getting into the habit of paying myself a dividend every single month. I'll be honest, you guys, it has been really hard to pay myself. I am always finding reasons to justify not paying myself because I just want to like hoard money in that business account. But that's just not logical, and it doesn't make sense. And the whole point of having the business account was being able to pay myself a fixed amount once a month. That amount that I feel comfortable with is $1,000. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. So that would bring me to monthly earnings of just under $3,000 a month. Let's see if this actually makes sense by now going in to my bill payments and then creating my budget. So my bill payments are as follows. I have rent, I have I'm gonna put rent and parking together. It's just easier. I have car insurance, I have Spotify, I have iCloud. Is that how you spell it? No, it's like mini I. And I have QuickBooks. The due date for my rent is obviously the 1st. My car insurance always comes out on the 2nd. Spotify, I'm not sure, I'll have to check, but let's just say it's like in the middle of the month. Same thing with iCloud and same thing with QuickBooks. I'll go find what the actual date is because in 2025, we're being precise. My rent and parking, $875, and I've already paid it. So I'll go ahead and put in that it was paid. Car insurance is about $170, and it already came out as well. Spotify has gone up, it's about $15. My Apple iCloud is $5, and my QuickBooks is $17. So this brings my monthly fixed expenses to $1,000, which is already 1/3 of my income. Let's start a new chapter and get into the fun part, which is creating my actual budget for January. And I do try and stick to the same budget month after month. When I find something that works, I like to stick to it. However, for 2025, I'm gonna be making some changes, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys about those changes because I need you to hold me accountable. So you guys know I love to do cash budgeting. A big chunk of this expense summary is in cash, which we will stuff at the end of the video. And then part of it is going to be on credit because it's just things like for example, gas. It just doesn't make sense to pay for my gas in cash. It's like such a pain in the butt. So I budget for my gas on credit. Let's go in here and fill out this expense summary, which is essentially creating my budget for January. First up is groceries. I've been budgeting $450 a month for groceries. I'm comfortable with this number. My boyfriend and I do not split groceries 50-50. I will buy for us sometimes, he will buy for us sometimes, and he's a guy, he eats a lot, and so it's only fair that he spends more money than me on groceries. Like I told you guys, we presented to each other our spending, and he spends so much money on groceries. When we put it together, we were actually appalled at how much the two of us were spending on groceries. I love grocery shopping because I see it as a challenge and a way to take my time, go in, find the healthiest and best products for the best price. Sometimes people will like scoff at my grocery budget, but honestly, you guys, I like to buy organic when possible. I like to buy good food. I like to eat. So I don't mind spending on groceries. It's not something that makes me angry to spend on because I like food and I like nourishing my body with good food. But that being said, I don't like getting ripped off. If I go to the grocery store and buy 5 things, JS could go and buy the same 5 things and he will guaranteed spend more than me because he's not patient and he doesn't look for the deals. So that's where I have a problem with spending too much on groceries when you're literally wasting money. So we set the goal in 2025 that I'm gonna teach him how to better grocery shop so that he can shop smarter. If he doesn't have the patience for it, he's gonna have to give me his card and I will go in. I don't mind being the grocery shopper in chief of the household, and we're just gonna figure out if that becomes my responsibility, then he's gonna take something else off my plate. We're not gonna split the grocery bill 50-50, but we'll kind of alternate paying for it and we'll just make him pay more because he eats more. So I'm not gonna bring my personal grocery spending down, but we really need to bring his down because it's too much. And then if that system works out, mine should come down in consequence. So leaving it at $450 for now, we shall see. Dining out. Okay, this is one where I wanna bring it down because I always used to say that I don't care about going to the restaurant. I don't care about fancy restaurants. It's just not my thing. I don't like spending money at the restaurant, which is true because there was a period in my life where I was doing it too much. Now I never do it, but I do spend a lot of my dining out budget just on straight up being lazy. It's 6 p.m. There's nothing in the fridge because we didn't plan for groceries and we're lazy. Let's just go pick up Thai. One thing I'm really proud of is that I don't do Uber Eats because it's just so much more expensive, but I will get in my car and drive to my favorite Thai spot, drive to my favorite poke spot because I'm being lazy. Don't get me started on Saint-Hubert. I love Saint-Hubert. Get in the car, drive to Saint-Hubert. So we looked at my dining out spending, we looked at his dining out spending, and you put the two together, it was astronomical. It was actually insane. His, once again, being a lot higher than mine. He also earns more money than me, so it's normal that he spends more than me and he eats more. But we looked at each other, we were disgusted with each other, and we agreed that even if we spent the same amount of money, we could spend it in a way that's more fun. We could spend it on actual date nights rather than getting in the car, getting takeout, and eating in front of the TV. Yes, that's super comforting, and yes, that's nice. It's a nice treat once in a while, but it doesn't need to happen 1 or 2 times a week. It could happen 1 or 2 times a month. And then with the remaining money, we could have a really nice dinner date once a month. And I think that would bring a lot more joy out of the money that we're spending. So we are significantly cutting back on the takeout. That being said, it's not just takeout with JS that goes into this dining out budget. There's also nights out with my friends and things like that. If I go to the movies, I will include that in the dining out category because I don't do an entertainment budget for myself. I'm not a big entertainment person. So I think for the first month, I'm gonna keep my dining out category at $200 with the goal of having some leftover money at the end. But within that $200, there's gonna be a lot less on kind of fast food takeout and hopefully a nice dinner in there. Maybe JS will pay for the nice dinner. He probably should. He probably will. Okay, coffee, guys. I have so much to say about each of these categories because like I said, we just did that deep dive last night. Look at this. Look at this. $0 for coffee this month. Since I started my budgeting journey, I had been budgeting about $40 a month for coffee, $10 a week because it's just nice and it's cute and it's fun to go out for coffee. No more. For January, I am doing a $0 coffee challenge. JS is in on it with me. We shook hands on it this morning. We added up my annual coffee spend with his annual coffee spend, and it came to over $2,000. Most of it was from him. For me, it was about $500. From him, it was the rest. We live in a really cute neighborhood. There's a lot of local coffee shops here, and once or twice a week, we'll start the morning with a walk to the coffee shop, and it's super nice. It's like a fun thing to do. In the summer, we were doing it multiple times a week, and usually he would treat me. It was really fun, but coming to the end of the year, looking at the grand totals, we had to ask ourselves, is this really worth it? Is this where we want to spend our money? JS also did some research, and buying a really, really, really nice coffee machine and grinder would come out to less money than the two of us spent on going out for coffee in 1 year. And these machines can last you 10 years. So it's just really not a good use of our money. If we were to remove that $2,000, that's a really nice trip we could go on, or that's, a staycation. There's so many different things that money could go towards. And it's not to say that I'll never buy coffee out again. There's definitely a time and a place for it, such as when you're traveling. If we go to Ottawa to visit my parents, then we don't have a coffee machine there. Okay, we want to go out for a coffee, no problem. But the key thing that we want to start doing is no more coffees from home. Another reason why we go out for coffee so much is we don't have a coffee maker. I don't like filtered coffee. He has like a Chemex, but I don't like that coffee. I like espresso, like I like lattes and stuff. We have an espresso, but I don't really like that. Okay, I'm very picky. I don't really like the Nespresso either. So that's why when I want a coffee, it always comes to going out, or I'll just like make a matcha or whatever. But sometimes a coffee just hits, you know? Sometimes you have an afternoon slump and you need a coffee. We will be reallocating our coffee budget. We are going to be buying a gorgeous espresso machine. And by we are going to be buying it, I mean it was ordered last night after we did our budgeting session. And again, we shook on it this morning that for January, we will spend $0 on coffee out. I used to spend a lot of coffee out because I would go work from a coffee shop. When I started teaching bar more frequently, I would also go out for coffee because I would like want some fuel from my bar class. But what's wrong with just making a tea once we get the machine, making a coffee at home and bringing it? Same thing for if we want to go for a walk. We kind of realized it was like a little bit pathetic to need to go buy something as an excuse for going for a walk rather than just going for a walk. So we're gonna get some cute to-go cups. We actually already have some, and we'll be making our coffees at home and taking them out and just going for a walk that way. And over the years, we will save so much money. Like once that initial investment in the machine is paid off, so much money will be saved, and I'm just really excited. Going back to what I said at the beginning of the video about it's not about how much you make, but what you do with what you make. I think there can be so much joy to be found in simplicity and not needing to go out for a coffee, just being able to be with someone you love and just go for a walk. That's that kind of simplicity and that peace that I'm really looking forward to in 2025. Huge tangent all about coffee, but there we have it. All right, this next category for Maggie, I'm gonna budget $200. I spend so much money on my dog. I know you probably do too, or on your pets. Pets are so expensive, but we love them to death. When I did the annual summary and I looked at how much I spent on Maggie, it was pretty shocking, but I had to ask myself, is there anything I could do about this? Is there ways that I could cut back? And the answer is no. I don't buy a lot of frivolous stuff for her. It's just her food, it's getting her watched because that's the type of dog she is. And there's not a lot of ways where I could cut back. It's not like I have a BarkBox subscription that is like useless. It's not like I go buy her new toys all the time. It's really necessities for her. And so I just need to accept that this needs to make room in my budget. So I'm gonna do $200. Once again, this is a cash category for the month of January. For the home category, I've been doing $50 and it's been working super well. That being said, I do foresee more home spending in January, but I have a little bit of like sinking fund money that I could use for it. So I think I'm gonna stick with the $50 budget. Next category is personal care. This is another category that I'm pretty passionate about. I used to budget about $60 a month for doing my nails. You guys may have noticed, she's gone natural. I am going to be challenging myself to do no nails for 3 months in January. It has been such an up and down and like emotional cycle. Like I'm so weirdly emotional when it comes to my nails, and I just had to stop. I have to say that's enough. I'm literally addicted to doing them. I had convinced myself that if I didn't have my nails painted that I was ugly. What a ridiculous notion. And so I'm going natural. It's been about a week of being natural and I like it. Like when I see girls with beautiful nails, I'm like, oh, but I think I'm just gonna, like, I'm seeing it as a quest to make my natural nails beautiful and just to accept my hands kind of the way that they are. And, you know, I like jewelry and I like stuff like that. So there's other ways that I can make myself feel nice about my hands and just making sure that I'm putting on cream and cuticle oil and taking care of what I got. And this is gonna not only save me money, but save me so much time. Even when I'm doing my nails at home and it cost me $0 because I've already paid for the kit, it still costs me time. And because I'm a freelancer, my time is literally money. So, and yours is too. Even if you're not a freelancer, your time is money. Like if it brings you joy to sit there and do your nails, great. It used to bring me joy to do that. It doesn't anymore. It's just become frustrating. I'm over it. And so no more nails, hopefully for a whole year. That would be so crazy. I haven't had naked nails for more than a week in probably 15 years. This is a really big change for me. But it's not just nails that fall into the personal care category, things like tampons, hair care, anything from the pharmacy, you name it. So I'm gonna give myself a $20 budget. I don't think I need anything. I'm literally all stocked up on hair care, tampons, every example that I just gave, plus no nails. but you just never know when something pops up. I feel like especially as women, sometimes you just need to go to the pharmacy, so 20 bucks should cover it. All right, treat yourself. This is where I will buy, usually it's clothes. Clothing is my favorite way of treating myself, but it could also be a little croissant or something since I'm budgeting $0 in the coffee category. So there's so many different ways to spend the treat yourself budget. It could also be on a new notebook, a new planner for the new year. If you're looking for a planner for the new year, might I suggest a gentle productivity planner made by yours truly? Okay. I used to be that girl who would spend like $300 a month plus on this category. I was a total shopaholic. I've really brought it down over the years. And I wanna say in the last 6 months, I've brought it down even more. So I'm gonna do $50 for the month of January in the treat yourself category. Another category that is super important for me to budget for is gifts. There's always something that pops up, always a birthday, a housewarming, you name it. So I'm gonna budget $50 for gifts because I kind of want to start a sinking fund here. The last cash category is transportation. I usually budget $30 for this because this is 10 rides on the metro. I don't think I'll need it this month. Actually, I might need it later in the month because I still have quite a few passes left on my card. I also want to challenge myself to embrace winter and start walking a little bit more, but we shall see. Now let's take a look. This would basically make up my cash budget. If we add everything together, we're at $1,050. I like for my cash budget to be $1,000, which means this is too high. I need to finagle here. So I think I could lower this to about 30 bucks. Now I'm only $30 over. I need to take $20 out somewhere. I think I will take it from dining out. So I'm gonna do 170 for dining out instead of 200. And honestly, that's fine because that $30 would have been like a fast food takeout situation. So goodbye. Alrighty, so now we have my cash budget for January adding up to $1,000. It's perfect. If we go down here, these are the non-cash categories. So I still do like to set a budget for them so that I can keep within certain parameters. For books, I don't need anything this month. I'm gonna set it as 0. For gas, I'm gonna do $100. For health and wellness, I'm going to do $150 because I have to go to the dentist. Actually, it's probably gonna be more than that. Ooh, I hate that. I hate that so much. Okay, I'm gonna do $250. Another thing that I wanna try and squeeze into my budget is getting a monthly massage. But looking at my forecasted income, I don't know if it's gonna be possible, but we'll just put this here for now. For parking, I'm gonna do $25. For workouts, I'm gonna do 0. Car stuff should be 0. Vacation, nothing's coming up. Christmas is past, so 0. For skiing, I'm going to do 20 bucks for skiing. This would just be a couple of hot chocolates at the mountain. Nice and easy. Special events, I'm gonna do 0. Personal development, I'm going to do $75 because I need to buy a Pilates book online that costs $75. So I'm gonna budget for it here. And for business expense, it should be nothing, but we'll see what comes up. So if we look at this, $1,470, we add it up with my monthly expenses. This brings us to $2,552. This is $500 less than my forecasted income for the month, which is actually perfect because that would leave me with $500 to invest, which is my goal amount for investing. This health and wellness category, I would actually take from my sinking fund rather than from my month-to-month budget. So that would take out another bit of money that could also go towards investing. So I'm really happy with this budget. I'm like, let's lock it in. I think it's good. And it would still leave me with some room to contribute towards my goals. So speaking of goals, if we look at these sections down here, this is where you would input anything that you're putting towards savings, anything that you're putting towards your debt repayment, and any investments. My goal for January for my investments is to contribute towards my TFSA, and I really want to contribute $500. Something I want to start doing in 2025 is paying myself first, which means before I pay off my credit cards, before I do anything like that, is making sure that I put money towards my savings. This is a habit that any financial expert is going to tell you to do, and I've been putting off doing it since starting my budgeting journey. No more putting it off. 2025 is the year that I pay myself first. So what I foresee is every time I get paid from copywriting, before putting it anywhere, I'm just going to put 500 bucks straight towards my TFSA, which is invested in an ETF. So that'll come in the middle of the month. Thankfully, I don't have any debt. I've worked very hard to become debt-free, but if you do, you would want to track your debt payments here, and you could even set your goal. Let's say your goal is to do 500 bucks a month towards your debt, put it here. You can also write down your monthly goals right here. So I'm going to put invest into TFSA, and I'm going to put pay myself first. Technically, these two are linked together, but one is a habit and the other is the amount. So I'm gonna separate them. Another goal that I have for the month is to have $2,000 in my 1 month ahead. This is basically a checking account where I put money in as I get paid in order to cover my cash budget and cover my rent for the month. So my rent and my cash budget would come out to $1,875. I'm bumping it up to $2,000. One, because it's a cleaner number, and two is because this would allow me to put money aside for my insurance, which always shocks me. Every month I know I have to pay insurance, but I never budget for it. So it's time to start properly budgeting for my very expensive insurance. So these are my goals. And then when you go ahead and achieve them, you can check it off, which is super cool. This last area here would be for contributing towards your savings. For me, this would be my sinking funds, which I will talk about in a moment. So now we are absolutely all set for January 2025. It feels so good. It just, it's the best feeling to look at this and know you have a plan. I want to say that the important part is not sticking to this like to a T. It's following it as a guideline and doing your best to stick to it. Let this give you confidence. Let this set you free. It doesn't need to feel like shackles or chains. Let it be fun. Let the time that you take to sit down and do your budget, let that be fun. And once again, know that I'm cheering you on. I'm not gonna do this part on camera, you guys, but the next step that I would highly, highly recommend is going and copying all of these into each tab the same way that we put our expense categories into each tab. Go ahead and do your bill payments because they probably don't change that much from month to month. You can go ahead and do your income as well. That way, every time you sit down to do your budget, it's already in there and set for you. So highly recommend right now, as soon as you get the budget tracker, do your first tab, let that be your kind of guideline, and then go in and put it in every single tab for every single month. If you have changes to make, you can make them no problem. Let's say in March you get a raise, and so this is a little bit different. You just go ahead and change it. And then again, I would recommend copying it over. You want to make as little work for yourself as possible, and it's always faster to do things in batches than it is to do it one-off every single month. Hi. Okay, this is a little bit embarrassing. My mic died while I was recording because I was recording for too long. At this point, I'd been recording for probably about an hour 15, and yeah, my mic just died. The crazy thing, you guys, is that this happened to me in last year's video too. My microphone didn't die, but last year I forgot to plug it back in after going to the ATM to stuff my cash envelopes. And this year my microphone dies. So it must be good luck. I'm going to take this as good luck for the annual budgeting video. Anyways, in this section of the video, you guys, I was just talking a little bit more about some of my goals for 2025, most specifically how I'm going to be reorganizing my sinking funds. But seeing as the microphone cut out, I think it is a sign for me to save this for another video. So make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss that video. Now let's move in to the final chapter of how I budget, which is stuffing my cash envelopes. I'm going to take that budget that we made in the budget tracker and translate that into cash so that I can spend with cash throughout the month and keep up to date with my spending. Luckily, I was able to save some of the audio with my second camera, so let's get into it. So this is my cash envelopes folio from the line. It is made of genuine leather and it is so gorgeous. I even have it embossed with my initials. I would recommend upgrading to the leather planner once you've stuck to cash envelopes for a couple of months. You can start out with one of their more affordable options that honestly look just as good. I just love having this gorgeous leather one because this is essentially my wallet, and my cash envelopes are customized with all of the categories that I need. And again, these are from the line. The discount code that I showed you guys at the beginning of the video, Zoe10, also works on this if you want to start a cash budget in 2025. I think I'm going to make a separate video all about it, but I also already have one. I'll link it down below. Highly recommend cash budgeting if you are someone who cannot control your spending when it's on credit. I am that person. So let's go ahead and get going and stuff these envelopes. I'm just gonna take them all out. The first category is groceries, 2, 4, 6, 8, 100, 2, 4, 6, 8, 200, 300. Oh wait, no, we're gonna do that after. 2, 4, 6, 8, 300, 2, 4, 6, 8. Some tens, we're gonna do $450. The next category is dining out. We said 170, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 100, 50, 60, $70. Normally the next category is coffee, but as we discussed, we're doing $0 here. I'll actually just separate it. Then we have Maggie's envelope. 2, 4, 6, 8, 100, 2, 4, 6, 8, $200 for the dog. Then we have the home category. We're doing $50. I'm just going to do one $50 bill. For personal care, we said 20 bucks. Maybe I'll do 2 10s actually. For transportation, we're doing $30. For gifts, we're also doing $30. I only have 10s left. I can rebalance if necessary. I might. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. And then the last category is treat yourself for 50 bucks. So my favorite part is always just clipping everything into the binder, seeing my whole budget looking so beautiful and organized. This just makes me so happy, you guys. And there we go, it's all set. Boom, you guys, we did it. We are all set for 2025. Now, let me tell you, this was a long and chatty video, but when you sit down to do it yourself, it is not going to take that long. Remember, this is supposed to be fun. This can feel therapeutic if you let it, and every single time you sit down to budget, it's going to get better and better. Remember that you are doing a favor for your future self, and the more you do it, the more fun you're gonna have, the better you're gonna feel. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know what your money vibe is for 2025. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that we can stay budgeting buddies all year long. I will see you guys in my next video.